corner where the treats at.
Is this the passing of the torch, right? Is this what this signifies?
It comes down to that front office and what they feel is most important.
The champ is here. We've touched down from a higher plane. Why you landed here?
We always look forward to that week because it was always intense.
You know that we ain't coming back. We got to.
The man, the myth, the legend, Dante Hall. My favorite player growing up was Dante Hall. I love you guys in the show, but Dante was my guy.
Get to dashing because you done on the warfield.
Chief Concerns is presented by BetOnline and Olipop. Marcus Dash here from Chief Concerns, and ladies and gentlemen, it is that time of the year. It's football season, and you know what that means? It means it's time to get in on BetOnline. BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for everything football. BetOnline has every stat, every matchup, and even live odds and spreads to bet on during the games. Think you know your stuff? Get in on our $200,000 mega contest and pick 5 games against the spread every week for your chance at weekly prizes and a share of $200,000. When the game's over, head on over to our online casino and get in on a game of blackjack or poker or unwind with one of our 150 slot games. Head to the website today and get in on the action. Bet online. The game starts here. Come on, baby. Go, 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 go. Yes! That's a first down. That's a first down. That's a first down. This football season, I'll be putting down normal sodas like Coca-Cola for Olipop. Olipop offers a healthier alternative with its low sugar content and natural ingredients. Olipop is more than just a drink. It's a wellness companion that supports your digestive health. Packed with prebiotics, this fizzy elixir helps promote good bacteria in your gut, leading to improved digestion and overall well-being. So go ahead, click the link in the description and use promo code SODALOVE and get your can of Olipop so you can enjoy the game guilt-free. Go Chiefs. Use the promo code SODALOVE for 15% off now. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Chief Concerns, your post-game show. I'm Marcus Dash. Right there in the middle is former Chiefs tight end Jason Dunn and my brother Teja Dash on the right over there. So a game where if you look at the ESPN's probability meter, it had the Chiefs like 0.1% to win this game with there was no time on the clock left. But somehow, some way, the Chiefs come away with a win and are still undefeated after a block at the end of the game. And I love how every game so far is you're undefeated, but you can point to some games that were defensive games, or most of them were defensive games. Some games, the offensive game, and then today, special teams comes to play and wins. It wins this one big time for us. I mean, just blocking a 35-yard kick to win the game, that is just crazy. I mean, you got to say it at some point. Is this a team of destiny? We're talking about 15 games straight of wins. We're talking about going for a three-peat. I mean, is this a team of destiny?
I mean, it sounds good, right? It does. It's like, hey, man, this is what the whole Cinderella moment is supposed to be. And so everything, the culmination is bringing it to where it is now, right? Fruition, the three-peat. And you could kind of argue the point, but I would say this. I don't want to see too many more games like we've seen today, put it that way. And if we start playing close and in playoffs like this, we will find ourselves at home, gentlemen. And so I think on all aspects that we looked at this game, we didn't really play a very good game at all. So there's some very big concerns there for us. We just was able to escape with some miraculous play at the end, blocking the field goal, like you said. And so, Denver team, but I thought we was going to be able to just go ahead and handle. But this, we got some things we need to talk about for sure.
It's funny. I started my write-up for this game, and it was about our loss. So I was writing a little notes to myself talking about a loss, and then had to change it obviously midway through that. I'm glad the extra work was well worth it. We found another, I feel like I say this every week, it's a new way to win every single week. This time the team had us beat. it was over. They were literally lining up to get the ball on the favorite hash mark for a kicker who's been like, was he 17 of 18 before that, or 18 of 19? He's like 90%, 90+% for sure.
Yeah, he had missed one, I think.
And a pretty short kick. And we block it. It's crazy that we just, we keep finding new ways to win. And I like that we're battle tested, and it's cool. But at the same time, I'm tired of the close wins, especially against teams that we should be handling. But we've had a lot of games this year where we probably should have lost but won. And every year we seem to lose to an inferior opponent. It happens usually, right? I thought this was going to be that game, and it was setting up for that, and then we won. But I don't think it takes away from the concerns that we have, like you were saying. I think that's 2 games in a row that a below-average offense moves the ball against us with ease. I know Bucks are not a below-average offense, but they're missing their 2 biggest weapons, so it's not the Bucks of old. And then this week, Broncos are not a juggernaut, and they seem to move the ball pretty easy against us. I know they only put up 14 points, but it's concerning. The second reason is our O-line just can't protect anybody, so that's a problem too.
Yeah, well, I say this though, kind of giving credit to the Broncos. I was talking about the talent of Bo Nix, what he had, right? And so this was without a doubt Sean Payton's guy. And you've seen them just getting better week after week. I think it's what makes them a very tough contender, especially defensively, what they've been doing all season. And so they put us to a test, man. At the point of attack, man, we were just getting our butts handed to us. There's no other way to saying it. And so I think when you go into the locker room, you go by every single offensive lineman. And, if their heads are not down or they're not pissed off, I would say that I would be shocked. I would be shocked if they weren't disappointed, if they were not disappointed in their performance, really.
Yeah.
I mean, it was, when I tell you, I don't think I've seen an offensive line get handled the way that they did in quite some time. And so, like I said, this defense, man, because they have a lot of speed, they do a lot of twists. They know that we're going to have some problems with twists. When Wanye went out, King Suma came in, and that was an issue that we had to deal with as well. And so, for offensive line, man, this is like, there's a lot of pride in what you do. It's a lot of pride in it, man. And to sit there and watch rushing yards, 57 yards rushing, and didn't look like there was any holes that was opened up for guys.
Yeah.
Man, I know I would be pissed. I know those guys are absolutely pissed at what the lack of, production they had, really.
Last 2 weeks, 16 QB hits, 8 sacks allowed, 13 tackles for losses.
Wow.
It's not good. I haven't even counted the pressures. Broncos had a lot of pressures. I know they're, I think, second or third in the NFL going into this game, but they're probably number 1 now, by the way. Just like every play, really. Every play.
Yeah.
What does it tell you? Obviously, the talk of the whole offseason was left tackle, who's it going to be? And then, ends up being a competition between Kingsley and Wanye. Wanye gets hurt. Kingsley becomes the starter for the left tackle position. Kingsley looks rough in that week 2 game against Cincinnati. Wanye comes in. He's healthy, and he's back in the left tackle spot. Obviously, Wanye goes out in the second quarter of the game. Kingsley comes in. And JD, it was rough. I mean, he looked like a rookie. He looked like a rookie. Let's just be honest. I mean, it's a sugarcoating it a little bit, but he looked like a rookie out there. And
I mean, he is.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Yeah,
He looked like a project.
Yeah, he didn't look like a second round rookie. I mean, but anyway,
he looked like a project.
Wanye comes back in, and kudos to Wanye for battling through the injury that he had to come back in and play in that game. And it just showed you there's a night and day difference there. Yes, the offense still didn't look 100% a great protection offense, but nonetheless, when Wanye comes back in, we look like more of a competent offense, and it just shows you how just having that extra year that Wanye has over Kingsley, it pays off, and it gives you 1 year extra of being in the NFL program. And Wanye is just night and day better than Kingsley at this point in time. And I don't think it's close.
Well, it's the speed of the game. The thing is, if you're not going against that all the time, then it's going to be uphill battle. And we've seen that. We've seen, King Suma having to adjust to this type of, defensive guys now in the NFL. It's the NFL speed. And like I said, man, it's going to take some time, man, to make that transition.
Man.
It is, right? And so we said this. We're like, look, man, if BYU was one thing, but you don't have anybody back there doing, mechanical biology that's coming after you, right? It's going to be somebody who's looking to get $35 million a year, okay? Who's trying to get as many sacks as possible. Yeah, they got an incentive to kick your tail on every single play. And so you're the one sitting, between them and $30 million a year with that next contract. But yeah, King Suma, man, he's a rookie. Yeah, he looks like a rookie because he is a rookie. And so he hadn't really had a whole lot of reps because, obviously we know that sometimes, your confidence can be messed with. But I'm going to say this, and I'm not even going to put it all on him. I think this was all across the board from what I saw. I didn't start watching the game until, second quarter, actually. And that's why I asked you guys, like, what's going on? What's happening out here? Right? And then what I see from when I watched the game toward the end, I'm like, let me see. Creed Humphrey's getting his ass kicked. Tooney, Smith, Juwan, you name it. And it was pressure from all around. And it's the same thing that they were doing. It was twists. It was stunts. Everything speed guys do, okay? And they know what was susceptible to getting beat on. So, yeah, King Suma, because he's out there on the island, but up and down that board in the front, everybody was taking some lumps. Everybody. And I was like, this does not look good at all. Not at all. So
it's just scary because he's played better, but we're not necessarily like huge Wanye fans, right? I mean, he hasn't been amazing by any means, but it's crazy that 65, 70% Wanye is better than 100% Kingsley. And that's to trot him back out there and to say, you know what, even with your busted knee, you're better than what he's doing out there right now. That just shows you how rough and how low the confidence is in him. And I think if we have money left that we were going to spend trying to trade for a corner, I have to get Big Don Smith on that phone, man, because if Wanye goes down in the playoffs, I don't think we can rely on Kingsley to take us on home, man. We can't. It's not fair. It's not fair to the rest of these guys trying to go for a three-peat.
Yeah. If you're going to do that and you know that a guy is struggling, give him some help, some chips and whatnot. Benito is a guy, okay, but watched him when he came out in the draft. He's a lankier, smaller, pass rusher. Okay, you get your hands on him, you could stop him. But that's the thing about it. You got to get your hands on him first. If he gets on your edge like you did it's over. Game over. So, I say this. I'm a Wanye fan. There's a reason I'm a Wanye fan. I'm a Wanye fan because when we was talking about this at the very beginning of the season, I said, you need to go with the guy that's got the experience. Go with him. That's the dude you deal with, right? We see what he did when he seen Donovan Smith in front of him. So Donovan taught us some things. He learned a lot of different things because you have somebody who has played the game before. So he's giving you all that information. Who does King Suma tell you? Who does he have? I mean, that's playing out there tackle with him. The guards and those guys can help him out, talk to him a little bit. Andy Heck does a great job with the offensive line, but he's struggling right now. That's the reality of it, right? It is. But they got to get a hold of what's going on, man. Like you said, the last 2 games, you said how many sacks, Tage? How many?
8.
That's not good at all. That's unacceptable for our offensive line room. Unacceptable for us going into the season. Supposedly, one of the best offensive lines, and I still think we are. But we got a lot of work to do. Got a lot of work to do.
And between Hunt and Steele, 2.3 a carry.
Yeah, that's
not good.
No.
Well, what I didn't understand was when Kingsley came in there for about a quarter and a half, about 2 quarters. It seems like we went away from running the ball. I mean, at that point, I think before Hunt came in, or before Wanya came in, I think we 12 to 14 carries at that point with Hunt, and it was like midway through the third quarter and beginning of the fourth, and like you're not going to help a guy if you're throwing him in. And obviously, he's having trouble pass protection. You're not going to run the ball. Help the guy out.
Yeah, and it all depends on what plays you're actually running. And what I've seen a lot is they was hitting us in that A gap a lot from the linebackers, like that blitz. When they knew we was running the football, they are attacking immediately. The linebackers are downhill, and so that was their game plan. The game plan was like bottle everything up inside. Okay, make sure you control the gaps, and let's just play ball. And so Kareem didn't really have anywhere to run. Still didn't really have anywhere to run. They had to get skinny as much as they possibly could to get the yards that they got. And so that right there is an issue. That means that the lanes are not open. Why is that? That means guys are not coming off. And I'm going to tell you just from experience how the blocking works. When you're sitting over here, right, and imagine this, all right? I'm going to give y'all kind of so y'all can visualize this. So if I'm double teaming a guy, let's say a guard, tackle, doesn't matter who it is. If I'm double teaming a guy, I'm immediately got my eyes on the guy that I'm going to, okay? Like you have to, right? So it's almost you got to have a feel of I'm helping on the guy that's inside of me or outside of me, and I'm going up to the next level. What happens with offensive linemen, whoever's doing the double team, if that guy rushes up immediately, you come off that first guy. Well, when you're doing that, the guy that you're helping believes that help's going to be there, but you got to abandon him immediately right now to go to the second guy. Y'all follow what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm sitting over here like now I abandon my guy that I'm supposed to be helping. He's expecting me to give him help, and all of a sudden that guy gets penetration now. That defensive tackle gets penetration, and that's what I kept seeing. So the linebackers knew exactly. Let's hit the gap right now because he has to come off that help. And so I'm thinking as a defensive lineman, I ain't got a double team. I only got a single. In fact, he vacates that area. I could rush in that area. That's all I was seeing. It's gap discipline. Van Joseph called a great game defensively against our offense. Obviously against the pass, I want to see from the all 22 what it looks like as far as route combination, guys not getting open. But some of those were coverage. What's the name? Coverage sacks and pressures. But Pat, as Mike Brennan said, like that Pat didn't really have a good game. So,
Marcus, second quarter, we had 2 drives for 21 plays total. Hunt ran the ball 4 times in those.
21 plays, 4 runs, and yeah.
It's not a lot.
Not enough. Lee Matthews says we weren't running well, though. Power runs up the middle were not working. I feel like we lack creativity we used to have. Just seems like a small playbook, sweeps, quick slants, reverses. It's a very bland offense, hoping they mix it up and starting to score more.
When you have as much beef and money we have in those front 3, you shouldn't have to be that creative. You shouldn't have to be that creative. You're supposed to be dominating up front.
Listen, running the football is as vanilla as you could possibly get. It's me kicking the guy in front of me. I'm kicking his tail, kicking his ass. That's all it boils down to, Lee. Okay? It's a will and a want to. So the guy that I see right here, I got my own. Okay, it's between me and him. He's got to lose more battles than I do. Period. Point blank. And so, when we sit there, we talking about rushing the football. Yeah, it's got to be traps. It's got to be power. It's got to be zone, whatever it is. But we know what it is. So man, gap scheme. That's it. That's football. Okay, and it's man on man. Period. Win your battle. Period. That's it. You know? So we could, hey, I say this all the time. We could get X's and O's, draw them up as beautiful as possibly want to. But football comes down to one thing. It's tackling, okay, and it's blocking. That's what it is, okay? Forget all the X's and O's, and you get geniuses up here writing all type of routes and stuff like that. Hey, man, what do I see in that guy's face? What do I see in his heart? If his heart is pumping Kool-Aid, I'm going to expose it. That's what I'm going to do. And those guys came out here. They wanted it more than we did. And we start going into that too, right? Because when you start getting hit in the mouth, you start saying, well, what were we at? What are we looking for offensively? Okay. Because then you got to go up challenging a man. All right. As an offensive lineman, now you got to go at each other, challenging each guy. Period. That's how it's got to be. All right. And I don't know if that conversation happened. I'm sure it did, whether it came from Andy Heck, Andy Reid, or Patrick Mahomes saying, I need more time to throw the football. Kareem Hunt needs some lanes to run through. We need to get this job done. That's what it has to happen. So,
yeah,
I just
to only have 3 penalties, to win the time of possession by about 7 minutes, to win total yards, and we should have lost that game. It's not. It just doesn't make much sense.
No.
It's not good.
I'm just pissed off because I'm just sitting there like, man, that's just not okay. That's just not okay, man, by our offensive line. It's just not. And I know those guys are more pissed than I am. I know they are. So we should have beat those jokers up in front, man. Yeah. I'm telling you, point of attack, you got to win your battle. You have to.
And I'm happy we won. I don't want, like, I know we're going to get 1,000 comments on Bleacher Report. We won. Shut up. I'm glad we won. But sneaking by a win doesn't negate the things you need to improve on. That's what makes a championship team a championship team. You can't neglect and ignore the things that you're not doing well. You need to improve when you win or when you lose, right? We're lucky we got out of there with a win, but that's even better. You take the win, but you act like you lost because you need to get better at those things.
Right. Yeah, don't go in there with rose-colored glasses of, well, a win's a win. Yeah, it is, but not like this. We should be okay with this win, okay? And if we don't feel like things need to get better, which I know we do because we are championship caliber, right? That's why I have up here, our standard is the standard. Our standard is the standard. And so we have a standard about how we deal with football, how we deal about hitting guys in the mouth, okay? And so every time that we're in our stadium, we're going against any team, I don't care who it is, we're supposed to be the bullies up front. Offensively and defensively on the line, you got to be the bullies, pure and simple. Nobody can push you around in your own house, all right? We all have houses, and everybody who's sitting over watching this whole thing, man, you better not let somebody come in your house push you around. You better not. So let me calm down.
So lastly, before we move on to the other side of the ball, what are the chances the Chiefs, are you guys willing to bet this week the Chiefs bring in a left tackle of some sort, be it Donovan Smith, be it Bakhtiari? Do you think they bring in a veteran left tackle this week?
I guarantee. No, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to guarantee anything.
Oh, come on.
I don't know. But I will say that you have to at least pursue that option. And you may find yourself on Mondays and Tuesdays, like tomorrow's Monday, you may find somebody in the weight room, 6'5", 320, look at the same frame. You look around the corner like, who was that? That sucker's in here to take somebody's position. That's who he is.
Yep.
So
I don't know about guarantee, and I don't know about this week particularly, but I think we have a left tackle in here before the playoff signing deadline to get someone in here to help. Yeah. I think you have to. You can't solely rely on Morris. You can't do it.
With the about Wanya gets hurt as well. I mean, Wanya does get banged up a lot. Like that's kind of been his MO over the last 2 years. So like, I mean, you do need to have that insurance anyway, especially if we aren't comfortable, rolling with Kingsley, especially in the prime season of the playoffs. So.
And I'm not selling on Kingsley long term. I'm not doing that. I don't want people to get the wrong idea about that. But we're talking about like this season championship aspirations. Like that's what we have in mind right now.
Yeah, I think if it's me, I will be able to. I get on a phone call with old David. Okay, y'all got the ties. All right, give a call to your brother up there, your Persian brother. Bring him on in. See if y'all can tape you with some good old. What's some good old like Persian food? What's good?
Gourmet Sabzi would be the go-to. I think Gourmet Sabzi would definitely hit the trick for him.
Gourmet Snapsy?
Gourmet Sabzi, yeah.
Oh, is that what Teja laughing? What's taps? What's
It's
that?
just funny to hear this being talked about right now. That's all.
It's good, JD. You love it. Whenever the next time you come to North Virginia, we'll cook you up some Gourmet Sabzi. I'll have my dad whip it up for you.
I got you, man. That's on the menu. That's on the menu. Tell
Yep.
Pop, man, I want to try it. I
We'll
definitely
do it.
But I think him or Donovan, I think those two make sense. And if he's either one of those guys are healthy, okay, have been working out, sure, absolutely.
Yes, Bakhtiari is just more of a funny thing. Yesterday, Colorado played Texas Tech in college football. Bakhtiari actually tweeted at Mahomes saying, if Texas Tech beats Colorado, which they did not, but if Texas Tech beats Colorado, I'll come be your left tackle.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh.
There you go.
So the conversation's already being had, whether it's funny or not, but it's good.
Yeah.
Here's the difference between Bakhtiari, I think, and Don Smith, though. Don Smith, I think you can bring in to be your backup in case Wanye gets hurt or is not healthy enough to be at the level you want him to be. I think if you sign Bakhtiari, I think you're signing him to be your starter rest of season, right? I don't think Bakhtiari is coming out at this point to just be a backup for rest of the season for somebody.
Oh yeah, no. And I think, well, it all depends on his level of conditioning, where he is, right? Because
That's true.
He has to learn the playbook. He has to get all the information down, which is not going to take him much time. He's got a lot of experience. He's almost like how D-Hop has been able to kind of transcend now with Patrick because he's just been playing for a long time. And so you just know offenses, a lot of relations, a lot of carryover. Zone and gap and man is all the same. It doesn't matter. It's just the calls. That's it. But yeah, just get him ready. If he's in condition, I'd buy into it. I would. I'd definitely buy into it.
Yeah, I saw Mike Brandt say that, Kareem Hunt was banged up a little bit throughout the game. Yeah, first drive of the game, he came off the field limping, had trainers look at his right leg. I don't know if it was knee, but it was the right leg. Came back in. Obviously, the yards per carry wasn't good, but tell you what, one of his best receiving games, maybe like since his 2018 days with the Chiefs. But he was our leading receiver today with 7 for 65. So kudos to him for bringing his A game in the receiving game. And also kudos to Andy and the team for finally calling his number in the receiving game. We haven't seen enough of that since he's been in Kansas City this time around.
Yeah, that's why I'm not blaming the bad game on him being gimpy, because 7 for 65, 26 was his long. He was all right. So I'd love to bail it out on him being a little gimpy in that game, but it's not. It was the front. It was front center O-line couldn't open it up for him.
Yeah. And that joker, he had some ballerina toes over on that sideline, staying in bounds. He looked great. And I don't know if as far as like Colin, I think Pat just had to check the ball down to him.
Yeah.
Because he had so much pressure. He had to get rid of, like, shoot, where's my outlet? And thank God he found it, because we seen what he was trying to do, getting the pressure, trying to push it down the field. It was like, oh, hey, nobody's home. Nobody's home, gentlemen. So
you talked about it, Pat not being his sharpest game. Maybe one of his not the sharpest. He didn't look the sharpest today. He missed that bomb to Xavier Worthy. Xavier Worthy's wide open. That ball just goes out of bounds. It sailed on him a little bit. And then another sailing job was to Travis Kelce in the back of the end zone, which could have pretty much sealed that game right there. But it sails over him. And it's like, is that, JD, is that just a quarterback being rattled and their timing's all off because they've had to bounce all over the pocket all game and try to escape because they just have no comfort in the pocket?
I think it's part of it. I do. I think, when you get a guy, I don't care who it is, kind of moving his feet a lot. And Pat could do both. He could run and throw on the run, but also too, if you don't know where things are coming from, it does quicken everything up. And those two, like you said, the one to Worthy just kind of sailed on him. If he kept it in the stadium, might be a different thing. The one to Travis, he just missed him. I don't know how that sailed on him. He was just like, yeah. I think he was like, wow, how that, both of them was like, geez.
All right, let's talk about the defensive side of things. First drive of the game, we couldn't stop anything. They were kind of moving the ball down on us. Tight end, somehow, every game they have at least one play of a tight end. I didn't look at the numbers. There's got to be at least every game of the season, the tight ends had at least a 20-yard play or more. I'm just going to guess. I don't know what it is. And then their opening drive touchdown, confusion out there. And they get a wide open touchdown. It seemed like confusion between Bolton and Drew Tranquil, it seemed like there. But what did you guys make of the defense today? I feel like Bo Nix kind of had his way with us a little bit.
Well, I mean, as far as I saw, they was going after Trent McDuffie too. They was going after McDuffie.
Yeah.
I was actually shocked, but they weren't scared of him at all. I think Cortland Sutton was like, man, give me that all day. I'll take him all day. And he's a bigger, lankier guy against a smaller statured corner like McDuffie. But I do believe the first half they were kind of handing it to us, and then we do such a great job. Spags does such a great job with his adjustments at the half. I think he's probably one of the best in the business that does that. As far as like, okay, we see what they can handle as far as some of the more Pinella stuff. Let's see when we start throwing a little bit more kind of complex, blitzes and pressures on him.
Yep.
See how he reacts and responds then. And so Spags does such a great job because teams just don't know when it's going to come. They know they're going to get pressure. They know they're going to get hit. But Spags does a great job calming it and disguising it when he calls the guys' numbers. So,
I mean, you hit it on the head with the readjustments. I think they had 53 yards in the second half. Granted, if that last drive was a normal drive, it looked like they were continuing to drive down our throats on that one. So if there was no time, there's plenty of time left. They probably would have kept going. But overall, I felt like we readjusted. I felt like we got pressure, and Nick started making some poor throws, not really poor decisions. He made pretty good decisions all game. But when we got pressure in his face, he looked a little more like a rookie. But he had a good game, 22 of 30, 215 yards, QB rating 115. And they may have found something in Estime. I think he ran pretty good. Overall, their yards per carry from the running backs was okay, but Estime 14 of 53. 3.8, you'd say, is not a great game, but against our defense, it is when you're giving up 3 yards a carry or right around there. 3.8 looked pretty good. He was getting going. Their running game looked better than ours. So then we haven't been able to say that at all this season.
Mm-hmm.
But that's 2 weeks in a row that a team that I didn't think had a really good offense coming into it seemed to be pretty confident in moving the ball. But kudos to Spags again for making his adjustments. He hasn't really had a game where, an offense has his way with his defense the entire game. He always seems to have like a period of it where he shuts them down. And, like I said, 14 points in the first half, 0 in the second half, 53 yards in the second half compared to a lot more in the first.
Yeah.
7 of 13 on third down today.
That's right.
Mike Brennan mentioned that there. And I feel like there's something that I would say teams found something with our defense, JD. But last 2 weeks, it seems like there's a very similar type of offensive scheme that's run against us. A lot of quick hitters, a lot of quick stuff that was working against us, and that's something that we haven't really seen yet this year. But the last two teams kind of have gone like that. The first half of that game, obviously, we made some adjustments, but first half of that game, they were using Mims like the way the Buccaneers were using Shepard last week. Kind of getting the jet sweep action with him, just getting quick ball out of the hands so fast of Nix and Baker. And I mean, they both look good. They kind of moving the ball, matriculating the ball against our defense a little bit. But We texted about. I don't know if you mentioned this, but Trey McDuffie looked like they were kind of targeting Trey McDuffie a little bit today, and that's something we haven't really seen at all this year. Trey McDuffie really has kind of gone MIA during games because he's shutting down receivers. You never hear from him, but today they were calling for number 22. What do you think Sean Payton was seeing in the coverages, and specifically why they were attacking Trey McDuffie today?
I think really they were just kind of saying our guy's going to be better than your guy. Cortland Sutton's a very talented wide receiver. He's really lanky. He's got a lot of length on him. Why want to utilize it against a guy who's a lot smaller than you in stature? And so he was able to run away from him. Trent McDuffie does a great job of being in guys' hips. But you give him a little bit more surface he had to work against, then, that goes to the other advantage. So I do believe that was part of, the game plan for them. And like you said, some of the quick hitters and whatnot, you really force now the linebackers and the corners to come up and make a tackle. Because when you run in, man and whatnot, you have the wide receiver run the corner off. But now the safeties and everybody got to come up and make a tackle. And so when you do that, there's a lot of space. And Mims and those guys got space to make guys miss, get up the field. But it's all about areas and what you attack. And so, that's what I said, Spags, when he started bringing more of that pressure second half, you don't give him chances to get to those areas, right? You got somebody that's already there, just waiting for it. And that's what's so for blitzes, you got to have somebody vacate. Who's ever vacating, somebody's got to replace. And that's what those, quarterbacks are, because you don't know who's going to replace that guy in that space that's being vacated. So.
Yeah, final drive of the game, they converted 3 third downs in order to get down there. And that's winning time. That's where usually our guys come up big, but nonetheless. I want to kind of give a shout out to special teams here. We opened up the show talking about the field goal block, and maybe the only thing I would say today, the negative with special teams today would probably be Butker's kick at the end of the game, which did not land in the landing zone, so that ends up giving a penalty. But outside of that, JD's been talking about for weeks about giving McCole Hardman a chance. Just give him a chance. That's all punt return is. Give a special player a chance. And today they did it a few times. They also did it on a field goal where at the end of the half he takes down. He was exhausted, but he almost took that thing to the house. But that was fun. It was really fun. But McCole Hardman looked good. I would say also punt team. It probably wasn't Ariza's best game. I think he had more touchbacks in this game than he had all season. Or he had 3 all season. He had 2 today, I believe. But JD, what do you make of the special teams and what finally it seems like probably one of our better special teams days of the season so far, in specifically punt return team giving McCole Hardman a chance, which I think that's what we've been begging all year for.
Well, I'm still looking for consistency in that department. The one at the half where he obviously if you want to be able to return it against the offensive line, right, on the missed field goal. I mean, it's like that's the most opportune time. And I almost thought he was going to break it. I'm like, because the big guys don't want to run around. They don't want to do it. And so, you get them jokers tied, then it's all over. So I'm actually shocked they got him down for that. But, as far as also too, I've seen him catch one down inside the 10 and we let the defender go and they got a tackle. So now we had to try to march 90 yards, to try to get a touchdown. And I hate that. And so for me, old special teams coach, I want consistency. I want it to happen all the time. Special teams should happen like that all the time. But like you said, man, it's all about giving them a chance. That's it. That should be a continuous thing that you have, especially when you're sitting over thinking about how much of a weapon it is in field position. Has to be emphasized all the time. So I like it. I'm gonna look at the film a little bit more. I'm gonna be critical of it when I check it out. So we'll see.
From a field goal block standpoint, JD, was that just our guys outwilling the other guys? I mean, what was that?
Yeah, that's all it was, man. They just came up the middle and getting their hands up. So we work on it all the time. That's exactly what you do. You come in, root a guy, just get your hands up, just get it in that area, man. So
we haven't had a block this season, right? It's our first block in a while, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't remember. I don't remember us getting.
I can't remember one.
No.
That was awesome. I really thought we were going to lose. I did not think I just, it's been so long since I've seen a block. I just didn't see that happening. But that was awesome. Totally unexpected. Yeah, it's nice to see Hardman thriving in that role. I was even thinking too, I mean, if Hardman, Hardman's interesting. He's never been, we wanted him to be that Tyreek Hill replacement at one point, and he's just not. He's not that guy. But I think he carved out a pretty good overall just career with the Chiefs. He's had a key play in the Super Bowl, the game-winning play. He's been a fun, useful gadget guy over his career, and if he could just become our punt returner, we don't have to worry about that anymore. Then I'm cool with Hardman. I mean, me and Hardman are all right. But and Steele had a good return too. I think for 25 yards in that game. But yeah, the Butker one was pretty rough because that was the last drive, right? So they started at the 40 for that.
40.
That's brutal. I mean, if you put them at like the 25, I mean that 15-yard difference is pretty big there, right?
Big yes,
huge.
Yes.
So yeah, that was a big blunder, but that's my biggest complaint on Butker in a long time because he was 3 for 3 yet again. So Butker just, our standards are really high for him.
Got a comment from Janet Wilson telling you to believe, Tej. Got to believe, dude. Go Chiefs.
Got to believe, baby. We're gonna pull it out in any situation. It don't matter what it is. I told me and my girl, man, me and Susan sitting there watching. I'm like, watch they gonna shank this. I know it's gonna be a block. I'm like, his joke he's gonna pull it. He's gonna pull it. So, wow.
Wow. It's exactly what I said. I was like, oh my God, man, that's crazy.
Pat ran on the field like he was winning the Super Bowl. Like he just repeated.
You can tell they weren't expecting. They're expecting loss. He was already thinking about what he was going to say at his press conference.
Yeah.
You sitting there like
yeah. Just like me typing out, notes about losing and what to gain from it. Which is funny because it made me think while typing it. I was like, you know what? All this still applies. We won. Okay, the last second went in our favor, but a lot of this game didn't, and we need to talk about that.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, but nonetheless, Chiefs undefeated, and next week we'll be taking on the 8-2 Buffalo Bills. So the 9-0 Chiefs going against the 8-2 Buffalo Bills. And I think I don't know. That's not a primetime game, but I think it's probably a primetime 425 game. I have to imagine. That spells Romo Nance written all over it.
Yes. Yeah, totally. I remember before the Raider game, this was the highest percentage game in Vegas for us to lose our undefeated streak.
Huh.
Really?
At the time. Yeah. The second was actually, I think, the Raiders that week.
It's going to be Buffalo now.
It's Buffalo. Yeah. I mean, yeah, big time.
Yeah. All right, guys. So obviously, as we end the show, our post-game show, and obviously, if you guys are new to the show, JD and I will be back on tomorrow night on our YouTube channel, Chief Concerns, for a Monday morning tight end, where JD goes over his grades for each position group. And this week's not going to be, it's not going to be good this week. JD's going to be going to town on some of these grades this week.
That red pen's going to run out of ink.
Yeah. We got quite a few of them. We got a few pens, so we should.
Okay, there you go.
Quite a few of them. So.
But obviously, before we head out of here and go watch the rest of these, finish out the rest of these NFL Sunday games, what is something that we may have not talked about on the show today that you think that a player that you want to spotlight or a play that you want to spotlight before we head out of here for the rest of the games?
Player. I don't know. Somebody said in there, and obviously it's going to come after I do the film review, but sometimes maybe the play calling, just looking at like the tempo, what they were thinking, what they were looking at, why they felt like they couldn't do particular things. I think we run a whole lot of screens which didn't work in our favor, and to me, some of them were that we were trying to run was kind of unsettling. I think we kind of telegraphed it a little bit too easy. And so I had to look at that too, as far as like our play calling, because it just didn't seem like there was like a good rhythm with things. And that could happen, especially if you're thinking that you're going to do a much better job running the football and you don't. And then if guys are getting open or they're not getting open, like what's going on? But if I see, I'm watching over here, receiving. I mean, Xavier Worthy had 4 targets. He only had 1 catch. So we got to get him or get on the same page, man. Man, we just got to get on the same page with guys. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's all I want to highlight it.
Teja, anyone you want to highlight before we head out of here?
I think I love what Hunt's given us, but to get the best out of him, I think we need to get Pacheco back and taking some of the load off of Hunt. Not to say hasn't played well. I think you could go either way with giving a lot of carries to one guy and then giving a lot of catches to the other. Both Pacheco and Hunt can be used in the passing game. So they can just ride the hot hand, whoever's running better between the tackles that game, and then give the other passing work to the other guy because they're both versatile, pretty versatile backs. We haven't used Hunt in that regard, but we showed today he can do it. He can catch the ball. I mean, that's pretty much what he was doing in Cleveland while Chubb was there between the tackles guy. I can't wait for Pacheco to come back. And I just want to see Worthy. Speaking of consistency, I just want to see him string together a couple of. I was unhappy with his 3 catch games earlier in the season. Now I wish he had these every week. I mean, he's getting like 1 or 0s every week. So granted that deep ball wasn't on him, but it'd just be nice to see a little more consistency in the connection with Worthy and Mahomes because it looks like it's trending in the wrong direction as far as their chemistry goes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Obviously, lots to take away from this game, but nonetheless, another win and still undefeated as we take on Buffalo next week. But, guys, that'll do it for us. Again, if you guys want to catch myself and JD and Teja more, so you guys can follow us on YouTube, Chief Concerns channel, Monday, Wednesday, Friday shows, and, of course, post-game shows, which we have right here on Bleacher Report. But, guys, we'll see you guys next time. Love you, everybody. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of the games.
Love y'all.
Appreciate it. Love you.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.